fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, Izuku Midoriya. He has just returned to Vados' planet. His power level is now quite high. He broke through that roof and finally reached the power level of 1000. Which Vados then brought him back to her planet. Midoriya resting and actually enjoying some of the things that he's missed in quite a bit of time. For 2 weeks, Midoriya will stay somewhat in a recuperation type mode, kind of. He's told to relax and simply just enjoy himself for a minute. When Midoriya does wake up this morning, he does find he's still on the planet. Thank God. Which he then does actually go out and find that his parents are both training. Vados informed Midoriya that it is very good that he woke up. In fact, she was just about to go get him. Now, young Izuku, do you understand exactly why you are training? To get stronger? Well, yes, technically, but also because of more. You are going to help become the symbol of peace, or at least the symbol of balance. But balance? Why, yes. You see, I believe that right now, you are at a good physical level. You are able to somewhat maintain Ultra Instincts. However, the problem is you keep slipping into it. So I believe that I shall have to teach you certain things. Now, not only will this training help you and actually further your own growth, but it will also teach you vast amounts of things. Now, yes, I do believe it would be far too soon to send you there. But, actually yes, that will work out quite fine. Her telling Izuku to come with her. Her taking Midoriya to a building that is on the planet. And Midoriya being sat down and given a few items. Her being to teach Midoriya certain things. She teaches Midoriya about good and evil, balance and destruction. Certain civilizations, what they needed to do to survive, their failures, and the things that they actually did well. Now, over the next 1 to 2 years, or let's say at least 2.5, Midoriya would begin to properly learn academics and different things. Vados teaching Midoriya all about these little things, along with Midoriya at least doing his own regularized training. Now, Midoriya would be at the age of 6 to 7 years old at this point. And I do want to say that with him, at least, constantly doing his own training while his parents do their own thing, they've actually got a huge lead on Midoriya. Their power levels in this amount of time, I want to say, have jumped from somewhere above 1000 or 1500 to somewhere above, let's say, 2 years of Vados. If Vegeta and Goku can go from... trying to do a little bit of math in my head. Yeah, I believe that a 20 times increase wouldn't sound too far out of the realm of possibility. Okay, that will work then. Their power levels would be around 20,000 to somewhere within 25,000. So, they now far exceed the power All Might has. Along with that, they themselves have become their own little forces of nature. Meanwhile, Midoriya, he is, I want to say, at least at 3,000 to 3,500. With Ultra Instinct, however, he would far outnumber his parents' power level, especially if he were to go all out. Midoriya's 10 times power increase has actually become higher. As Midoriya's body got physically stronger and older, it became more used to the idea of growth. So, Midoriya has been unknowingly extending the Ultra Instinct multiplier. Whenever he slips into it and out of it, his body is beginning to grow accustomed to it. However, now that Midoriya has been doing that a little less, his body is able to hold and output more of that destructive power. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, whenever he does wake up this morning, he immediately rolls out of bed and begins to do some push-ups. Midoriya getting to 100 before Vados does actually walk in. Watching as Midoriya actually does bring his legs up to float into the air. Before, he's just standing there and begins to walk on his hands. Before he starts to do push-ups like that. Vados staying quiet for a second to watch Midoriya. My, the young boy does always try and find ways to better himself. Before she does actually say his name. Young Izuku. Midoriya actually going to fall forwards. As soon as he does, he begins to float into the air before he does bring his legs down onto the ground. Standing up tall and bringing his hands up behind his back. Yes, Miss Vados? Again, young man, please just call me Vados. Of course. Midoriya looking down a bit embarrassed. His parents did teach him with good manners, but the young boy does seem to be very nervous about what is currently about to happen. Ever since the young boy was on that planet Vampa, he did seem to show more growth. Along with that, there is what Midoriya is currently wearing. I want to say he is at least wearing clothes similar. Actually, please give me a minute. Okay, I found a very good looking version of the clothes I wanted to give Deku. Granted, this isn't entirely similar, but it is very close. Now, credit to this design does go to this guy's name. I do not know how to pronounce that. But, anyways, Deku would have a similar clothing. The shirt and the pants design along with the boots. However, he would not have the gloves. Midoriya would have that piece of fur that he does have, but he would have it wrapped around his arm, or at least right where his elbow is. And he does actually have training weights or wristbands instead of gloves. And the shoes are also weighted. Now, Vados does inform Midoriya to put his shoes on and to get his weighted wristbands. They are going to do some actual training today. Midoriya will not be studying. Midoriya kind of actually surprised. Doing as he's instructed. Him putting on some socks before slipping on his shoes. Running over and getting his wristbands before also getting this patch of fur. Wrapping it around his arm and pulling one in with his teeth as he does tie it around. Before running out to meet Vados. Now, Midoriya, he does actually hear the sound of the street collapsing. As soon as he does hear that, he does look over in that direction. both of his parents holding weights and actually trying to walk. Midoriya confused on what they're doing. Oh, they are carrying out their own form of training. Huh? Why yes, they are currently running around the planet with, I believe, 250 pounds of weights? Actually, I think I doubled their weights today. 500 pounds? Well, yes. Even then, they are currently on their 27th lap. It should not be that much weight. Okay, Miss Vados. I forget how extreme she is. Alright, now. I believe that we can get you into some actual proper training. I've talked to your parents, and they believe that you are now currently old enough to actually do more physical exercises. They were worried about this phenomenon your species has called muscle degeneration. I am still not very certain of it, but I believe that we can at least push you a little bit harder. Now, this is whenever she actually does inform Midoriya of what he's doing, telling him to power up to his absolute best power level. Midoriya then doing so, as power is spewing out of his body, and the aura around him, you can see it. Midoriya then actually getting into a stance, and Vados informing him to come at him and try and attack him. If he can perform well or just as much as she expects him to, then she will give him, well, she believes that she can give him a reward and allow him to learn something new. This being where Midoriya, he's actually a bit more intrigued by this offer. And he actually does rush towards Vados. Him going to throw some kicks and throw his hands outwards. Now, Midoriya and Vados do actually go back and forth. Midoriya trying to land hits and try and blast away at her with ki. However, this is unsuccessful. Vados herself begins to dodge and weave in between everything Midoriya is doing, dodging his punches and his kicks, as Midoriya also does actually begin to fall into Ultra Instinct, the attacking half. As soon as Midoriya does do that, you can actually see that he is still in control. Vados watching as Midoriya maintains this for a few seconds before falling out of it, willingly, this catching her by surprise. Midoriya, he, within that short time frame, was actually able to make Vados move a bit faster, and her seem a bit more concerned about him hitting her, as he actually did begin to focus. Whenever Vados did actually begin to try and hit him with the staff, Midoriya began to try and dodge. At first she was going slow, but then she actually did get a little bit more aggressive. Midoriya getting hit a few times, before having to dodge around a bit more. Now, after an extended period of time, his parents are resting, and they've completed their training around the planets, taking a couple minutes as they're watching Midoriya and Vados in the air going back and forth. Midoriya constantly falling in and out of both different sets of Ultra Instincts, along with, for 1 minute, seeing that Midoriya mastered it. As soon as that did happen, Vados was actually caught off guard, and Midoriya, with white hair, actually was rushing forwards, her dropping her staff and bringing up both hands to catch both of his fists. As soon as she did, she spun him around before bringing her leg up and kicking him directly into the side. Midoriya, he was hit. However, whenever she did that, he did one thing. As soon as she grabbed him by the wrist, Midoriya, as soon as he was spun, he grabbed onto hers. And as soon as she kicked him, Midoriya actually did bring his hands up and was actually able to almost hit Vados in the face. As soon as Midoriya did actually hit her, as you could say, Vados immediately brought her hand up and was able to knock Midoriya out, him falling out of Mastered Ultra Instinct and flying back towards the ground as he does land, and Konosashi going over to actually make sure that he is alright. Now, after that does happen, Vados is actually quite impressed, as she does land down by the boy, Hasashi and Inko, inspecting Midoriya's injuries. Vados, you have to hold back. He's still just a child. Hasashi, I was holding back. However, if your son stays in that state for far too long, he will suffer the withdrawal effects again. And he was doing so much good progress. But he still did fail to land a hit on me. So I do believe that he has failed this little exercise. Hasashi looking a bit confused, and Inko saying that she doesn't see or feel that, does she? I'm sorry? Feel what? Her bringing her hand up and actually inspecting her cheek, finding that there's actually a little bit of a scratch on her face. Impressive. Her kind of shocked, but hiding it. In her head, she is trying to think. Midoriya, whenever he mastered Ultra Instinct, his power went up exponentially. The boy, he jumped over 1 million for about 5 seconds. So, whatever this boy can really do, he is going to be very, very powerful. However, she did actually not expect that. So, it appears that the young man, he is getting that reward. Now, as she is thinking this, she does take Midoriya somewhere, along with actually Hasashi and Inko, taking the three to meet a particular Kai. Now, Midoriya, he meets King Kai. Whenever he does come to, he's on the planet, and it is very hard for him to move. Now, with that thought in mind, Vados does inform Midoriya as he's laying on the ground about his particular circumstance. He fell into Mastered Ultra Instinct, and actually was able to get a lucky shot, as she does call it, her not wanting to admit she was caught off guard. And Midoriya is introduced to King Kai, him being informed of exactly what is going on. Why, hello, young man. You must be Izuku. Yes, sir. My. Please cut the manners. You don't need to be so formal. The name's King Kai, and welcome to my planet. Midoriya, as soon as he's able to actually get on his feet and at least look around, he tries to take a step outside, having to leave his wristbands and his shoes behind, looking around to see that this is actually just a very, very small planet. Sir, is this your planet? Why, yes. It used to be bigger, but the god of destruction, he sort of had a bit of a temperament. Why, yes. I do believe that it is ill-advised to do that to Lord Beerus. Lord Beerus? Why, yes. He's the god of destruction for this universe. Were you unaware? Or did I forget to mention who our god of destruction was? I'm very sorry about that, young man. Anyways, you will be training under King Kai. I have already informed him of what to teach you. Her then thinking and what not to. Now, with that being said, she then does actually leave, and begin to look around the universe. The young boy, if he does learn the Kaioken technique, he could be very powerful. And if his body can learn from the drawbacks of that technique, Ultra Instinct might actually not be so far behind. Now, with that being said, training does begin for Midoriya. Now, Midoriya will spend the course of a year on King Kai's planet, beginning his training there and actually being informed of what he will need to learn and what he will not be taught. First being told that he would like to see their combat prowess. Now, while they are doing that, we will cut over to Vados, who does begin a bit of a list. She is making a list of all the people in the universe Midoriya possibly could train underneath. Now, basically, you do have this small little list, and things that Midoriya might be able to get involved in to help bring a little bit of balance to the universe. Midoriya can learn underneath these particular key masters. Ones that they might not be combatants, but they do at least master and learn the art of ki, and different ways to utilize its unique properties and abilities. Along with that, Midoriya, or not Midoriya, Vados does also look into a particular green planet, where the life forms on the planet, they do not seem to be very much human. They do have no need for food, or if they do, they would have little need for it. All they would have is water, this being the Namekians. And then there is a particular battle-hungry species. Two factions of them, in fact. On planet Sadala, you do have Saiyans who are, at least, somewhat in a utilized society. Basically, everyone has their own various rules to fill. However, sometime within the past, a faction or a large group of these Saiyans tried to change the way that was, and they were cast out. Now they are trying to make a rebellion to take over the planet. Good Saiyans and bad Saiyans fighting back and forth, being hired for different jobs. Ironically, it became Saiyans defending planets from their own people. And if they were not able to arrive in time, they would also be seen within a bad light. Many different Saiyans leaving this planet and basically going about their own little work. At least that is what is happening on this side of the universe. Now, along with that, you also do have some pirates somewhere within the far reaches of North Galaxy. And even something else going on. Now, with that being said, there is a particular situation heading towards Earth. Now, a space pod does crash land on the planet, and out steps somebody who has their own little agenda. Somebody who believes that their way of life is truly all there really is. Somebody sent here by the very man Midoriya is supposed to take down. And this man's power level is at a whopping 50,000. Now, the man, within the course of a day, already begins a plan for world domination. And within the first hour, he's already taken out numerous countries and destroyed multiple continents. All Might, whenever he did try and face down against this man, he was swiftly taken down, or killed. Now, with that being said, while all that is going on, Vados is unaware of the situation on Earth. And King Kai, he is too busy training these three to check in on their home planets. since there is not really a reason for concern, too. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.